Unborn child rights. So, unborn but rights. Why? Is because end of the day we are talking about a fetus which has life. So, because it is fetus, it has life. Therefore, since it has life, we are talking about the rights life. Very important, not just the fetus point. You have to think in terms of male, female, and child per se. You have to understand this part. Therefore, our topic for today is rights of an unborn child. We have seen in the recent past that a lot of medical terminations and pregnancy terminations are happening due to various reasons. The older reason was once they find in sex determination tests, they find if it is a female, then the child is aborted, the fetus is gone. And another major reason is financial viability of the particular parent. If they are not able to, then they are not ready for giving birth to a child. Therefore, there is a lot of discrepancy with respect to a fetus becoming a child. So, this phase has become 10 years over the period of time. So, before we go ahead, why are we discussing this today? Is because recently there is this topic has been in news because the Supreme Court itself involved in this matter. So, what is it all about? So, just look here. The recent news is Supreme Court refused to permit the married woman to terminate her 26-week pregnancy, thereby upholding the right of the unborn child. So, this is the highlight point. Supreme Court said, no, you cannot terminate your pregnancy because it's already 26 weeks. The borderline is 24 weeks. You cross that line, therefore, it's not your right to kill a child or kill a fetus. That was the essence of the story. So, how did Supreme Court do this? Based on this act, Medical Termination of Pregnancy Amendment Act 2021, based on this. So, the issue is this part can be asked in prelims and various number of objective choices can be given out of this act. This Indian society social issues के topic में it is very important. But before we go ahead, we need to understand something called a very important term called gestation period. So what is gestation period? What is it? We'll just look at it so that you will have a more detailed analysis of what goes on. So please try to understand, when I say gestation, it means from the conception to the birth. So the minute the fertilization happens within a woman's womb, the sperm meet, fertilization happens. From there, the embryo part starts, embryo, fetus, and then a fully grown child. And after that, the birth happens. That is a usual process. But for the woman, there are 3 periods. The first is called trimester period, that is from 0 to 12 weeks. Then the second trimester, 13 to 27 weeks, and third trimester, 28 to 40 weeks. Usually the gestation period is about 40 weeks. 40 weeks ka matlab hai almost up to 10 months. But what happens is, we usually colloquially we say 9 months. 9 months period is usually the time that is taken for the birth to happen. But actually in medical terminology, it is 40 weeks, which is approximately 9.9 to 10 months ke beech mein. That is what you have to understand. So this is the phase where the development of the particular fetus happens. From the fetus stage to the fully grown child. This happens. So there are a lot of changes which happen among the women from this phase to this phase, this phase to this phase. Their taste change, their body structure changes. There is an overall uh, physical, psychological changes which happen in a woman. Therefore, during this period of phase, it is a man's responsibility to make sure that the woman is very, very safe. Because there are a lot of changes which happen for a woman. And those pains which a woman takes, I don't think a man can take. Therefore, under this pretext, I can definitely say that women are definitely more powerful than men. And we need to respect that. Because we are all here only because a woman has given us birth. And therefore, this period is very, very important for a woman. Now, though it is very, very important for a woman, it is also very, very important for the fetus to become a child. Therefore, it is also important for the unborn child. So, under that pretext, let's look at what is the story behind what happened with respect to the Supreme Court judgment. So, a small thing, in simple terms, I'll tell you what is the storyline. Fundamentally, there was a 27-year-old woman. She already had two sons, and the third one, according to her, was an unplanned pregnancy. They have There is no proof that they have done any tests about gender or something like that, but it was an unplanned pregnancy. So this is a third child they are talking about, or the third baby which is going to come out. According to the reports, it was said that she had some physical, mental, and psychological issues. That was a petition that was filed, due to which she started taking some medication. And because of physical, mental, and psychological issues, she decided that she does not want the baby. Therefore, she was thinking of termination. Just because you want the termination of pregnancy, a woman cannot do pregnancy because she has to go through a doctor or a medical team. The medical team said, you are beyond the limit of 24 weeks because you're already 26 weeks old. The fetus is 26 weeks old. And another 1 month or two, the baby is going to come out. So this is not the right time to do abortion or termination of pregnancy. But majorly the laws in India have been more favoring towards a woman's choice than the life of the unborn child. Now, but with this judgment, things have taken a different place altogether. Therefore, it is important. Yes, it is a beautiful thing that it is a woman's choice to whether she wants the child or not, accept it. But in terms of the child who is about to be born, a woman also should not have the right to say no to a child who is almost being ready for birth, because loss of life, not a great thing. The only reason why termination should happen is when you are having an abnormalities in the child, and post the birth there are a lot of problems for the child to live in the world, even if there is a lot of supportive systems that the world shows, or the life of the child will become worse, or the life of the woman becomes worse because of the pregnancy. Only under those extreme conditions the law allows to go for pregnancy. Since that was not the case here, the petition was filed saying that these were the problems, she was taking under medication, and because of all these reasons she was not willing to go for a child. But the only problem is the fetus is already 26 weeks old, which has crossed the barrier of 24 weeks. It was a petition filed, but the court said sorry to them. So the court should also have some reasons why they are saying a sorry. So what they have done is, they have sent all the medical reports to AIMS, All India Medical Association, and they got all the tests done. Then it was found nicely that physically, mentally, psychologically, she was fit. The fetus was very healthy. That clearly shows that the medication has not affected the fetus. It has not affected the fetus. That is very important. Fetus was fine and healthy. Fetus is very good. That means it will live a very good life. So, now the choice is between, should it be the mother's choice or should it be the right of the unborn child, is the whole point. A right of a woman's choice to give birth or not, or right of an unborn child who will be born in another 1 month or 2. So that is a clause where it has come. So the great Supreme Court has said, sorry, you cannot do that, because the reports are clearly saying that the physical, mental, psychological state of the mother was fine. That means she is going to live, she will have no problem. And the health of the child was also very beautiful. Therefore, there is no way that you can terminate the pregnancy. And moreover, the great court has also suggested that, okay, if your financial capacity is not so great, don't worry about it. The court will take care of it. The court clearly said, you don't worry about that. The medical expenses will be taken care by the government itself. So you don't have to worry about the financial part. Second part, the highlight point. If you are not interested in raising the child, don't worry about it. The government will take care of it. The government will adopt the child. The government will provide all the resources which are required for the child to grow, because it is a healthy child. It has every right to live. Therefore, the court has given such a wonderful statement. Now, I think this is a welcoming statement in terms of rights which are given to an unborn child. So that is the storyline which happened. And it was a recently news, therefore we are discussing this. So again I repeat, petition diya, they said everything was bad, but the proof was, AIMS say, they got a report saying that, no, everything is all fine. Fetus is good, mother is good, everyone is good. The medication which was taken by that particular petitioner has also not affected the child in any way, nor the petitioner herself. Therefore, when everything is fine, why termination? Not necessary. Your problem is, you can't make the child grow because of financial issue, or you're not interested in raising the child. Both these issues are solved. Financially, government will take care. If you cannot, government will adopt the child, we will take care of the kid. So you don't have to worry. So that is a beautiful court ruling which was given by the Supreme Court itself. Therefore, it's become an important issue, especially in terms of UPSC for Indian society, social issues and law structures. So that is a storyline. So let's look at one of the important things. I hope all of you have got the point. So what and how? Let's look at this. Please remember this act, Medical Termination of Pregnancy Amendment Act 2021. Please go through it. It is very important, because you might get a prelims question and they will give you some options and you have to face it. So therefore, it is better if you be ready for that. So the storyline, as I told you, 27-year-old married woman already has 2 sons, pleaded current pregnancy to be unplanned. So I told you about what happened with the petition, the counter arguments which the court gave, and finally the court ruling said, sorry, no termination, child is healthy, mother is healthy, so no termination, and accepted conditions for termination of pregnancy. Please remember, as I told you, only under extreme extremities, like the mother's health is spoiling, there is a tendency of loss of life for the mother, then yes, it can be accepted. The fetus has not grown properly, and post birth there will be a lot of complications for the kid. So why bring the kid and make them suffer for another 30-40 years? It is better to terminate them, and though the termination is not a great word, I should say, let them not come into this world and suffer. So before the development happens, it's okay. So that was the essence of it, though it is not so great. So only under extreme conditions, or when the woman is a child and she has given birth to a child being a child, so childbirth, child marriage hua, that's a problem. Or if the woman is a rape victim, so that is not that is a coerced pregnancy. So under such extreme conditions, and if she is a minor and she has been raped or assaulted, under such conditions, so only under such extreme conditions the termination of pregnancy will be allowed. Even then also, there were instances in India, especially in Rajasthan, where the Rajasthan court said, though the victim was a rape survivor, she had a pregnancy of close to 26 weeks. The court ruling said, so sorry, because the kid is, that fetus has grown almost into a child, therefore you cannot terminate the pregnancy. That was also a welcoming statement, but for the mother, I don't think it's a great idea. But end of the day, it is a life of a child, so priority should always be given to the child than a grown up. Therefore, under such circumstance, that ruling was very nice. Of course, there are a lot of controversies based on that. So let's look at what is there. Now, please look at this act, Medical Termination of Pregnancy Act 2021. So, what the act essence is, access to safe and legal abortion services, both therapeutic, eugenic, humanitarian, and on social grounds. So, this is the essence of this act. So, making sure that abortion per se is not ruthless or bad, it should be nicely done only under some conditions. That is the essence of this act. So, what are the conditions? Where can the pregnancy happen? Under what conditions? Please look at this. When it is 20 weeks old, the fetus, then the termination of pregnancy allowed only on the advice of one doctor. That is during the second trimester. 20 to 24 weeks of pregnancy, if that is a situation, determined by 2 registered medical practitioners as an exception. Please note this down, because options they might give you these options and ask you which of the following are true. So based on that, you might get a question based on this. And next, beyond 24 weeks, please remember, it is important to form a medical board. So the medical board will decide whether the pregnancy can be, the termination of pregnancy can be done based on, as I told you before, extremities only. Only under extreme situations only, even the medical board can say, okay, let's go for termination of pregnancy. Only under those extreme conditions of mother's health, mother's life, child's health, child's life, child's abnormalities, or mother's abnormalities, or the psychological condition is not so great and there might be a problem. Only under some extreme conditions, even the medical board can say yes to a termination of pregnancy. So please take a look, 20 weeks, 22 to 24 weeks, and beyond 24 weeks. That is a highlight point. So I hope all of you have taken this. Moving on to the next one. So what about unmarried women? This is the highlight point. It allows them to terminate pregnancy due to failure of contraceptive method or a device which was previously only applicable to married women. So this was only to married women before. Now for unmarried women also, they are allowing termination of pregnancies when there is bad luck time, when something due to failure of contraceptive methods. Only under such circumstances, unmarried women can terminate their pregnancies. And majorly, the privacy of that particular female has always been contained. It can never go out. So the name and the details of the particular person will never be revealed. Therefore, the act gives right to unmarried, married, as well as privacy. All of them are being contained. So it is a very good act. Moving to the next one. This is a very, 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 very important word nationally as well as internationally. Fetal viability. What do you mean by it? So, in US, according to a US Supreme Court judgment, it so happened somewhere in 1970s, it so happened that fetal viability factor became a very, very important issue. That means post-birth, what is the viability of the fetus to sustain? What is the viability or the possibility of the fetus to live a healthy life? This has been discussed, and based on that law, we have brought out this into our law structures. So, fetal viability is the time after which a fetus can survive outside the womb. That means birth hone ke baad, once birth ain tarvata, how long can the fetus sustain? If you think that the fetus sustenance is not so great, usually which happens when there is a health issue or some abnormality, under such circumstances, instead of bringing the child into the world, it is better to terminate them and make them not suffer. That is the most important point. Because end of the day, when the child is born, the child should be ready to live a happy life and a healthy life. That is more important. Rather than just because you want a child, you bring the child into the world and make them suffer. No, pointless. A child should live a happy life. That is the most important thing. Because with respect to any country, anywhere in the world, child is equivalent to God. Any child. irrespective of caste, creed, religion, anything. A child is equivalent to God. That is what all religions, all caste creeds have taught the human society. So you cannot make a God cry. You have to make the God happy. That means you have to make the child happy. So if you have extreme doubt that something is going to be wrong with the respect to the child, and they might not live a very happy life with respect to physical, mental and psychological structures, under such circumstances, before the limit period, if you are able to identify that factors, termination of pregnancy, I don't say you should be supportive, but thinking of the future perspective of that particular kid, it is better to terminate. Even if there is 1% chance that the kid is going to survive very happily, I think you should go ahead, give birth to the child. That is a norm. So therefore, moving ahead, what is the right of the unborn child? The Indian legal framework on reproductive rights tilts towards the side of the woman's autonomy, as I told you. Preference has always been given to women's autonomy of giving right to childbirth. But once it crosses the gestation limit of 24 weeks, it no more becomes the rights of the woman. Because if the child health is good, the autonomy is shifted towards from the woman to the child's life. This is a star point of the right of the unborn child. Once it crosses the just 24 weeks ka period, it is no more the autonomy of the woman, but it becomes the right of that unborn child that the mother has to give right to birth to that child. So that is the essence of this. But the problem here is, till date there has not been an international law to recognize the rights of a fetus of an or an unborn child. So I think it's a very good step moving forward. Thinking in perspective of the Indian legal system, this will be a game changer. There have been laws, but with this, I think a lot of countries will start doing it, and I'm sure there will be a very, very deep international law which will give more rights to unborn children. So moving on, what are the cases and what are the sections? Please remember, Rajasthan High Court, Nandkishore Sharma versus Union of India. This is another important one. I told you that case where the rape survivor, minor, pregnancy was about 26 weeks. Therefore, said no, you cannot terminate the pregnancy. That is a highlight of it. And this, please remember, this is a little on the essence side. The Guwahati High Court overruled the medical board's refusal to give an opinion on termination of pregnancy of a 26 weeks minor rape survivor victim. This is also very important. Just remember the cases. Use it when you're writing an essay or when you're writing a mains answer. You can mention these. Now, section 416 of the Code of Criminal CPC also provides for postponement of the death sentence awarded to a pregnant woman. Therefore, even under the circumstances of death, our legal structure has given importance to the birth of a child and the woman herself. So that is a very beautiful part. So please remember these cases, it is very important. And moving on, I think that is the essence of today's thing. So just a small quick recap, please remember. So Supreme Court, 24 weeks. So please remember, beyond 24, not possible, as long as the child is healthy and the mother is healthy. That is the essence of this whole crowd.